get into this. A former Facebook employee who claims the company put profits over safety will take her explosive allegations to Washington today. You'll recall in this exclusive 60 Minutes interview, Frances Haugen went public about the internal research which showed Facebook knew Instagram was hurting teens' mental health and well-being. Well, today she will testify before a Senate subcommittee on the need for more oversight and urge Congress to take action. Now, this testimony comes, of course, on what we've been talking about, this global outage of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp that happened yesterday. All of those platforms are owned by Facebook. They're now back up and running. I'm sure most people know that. But the company said, more importantly, that no user data was stolen, and they blamed a faulty configuration change for the incident. Chris Van Cleve has more from Washington.
Ahead of her testimony this morning, former Facebook employee Frances Haugen and her legal team filed at least 8 complaints with the Security and Exchange Commission, obtained by CBS News from a congressional source.
There were conflicts of interest between what was good for the public and what was good for Facebook. And Facebook over and over again chose to optimize for its own interests, like making more money.
She'll testify before the Senate, urging stronger regulation and claiming Facebook became a $1 trillion company by paying for its profits with our safety, including the safety of our children. Haugen told 60 Minutes' Scott Pelley Facebook needs a complete reboot, and CEO Mark Zuckerberg needs to take action.
It can't start from the place of, we have a problem. We need to declare moral bankruptcy. We need to put it on the table. We need to admit what we've done, and then we need to work from there to making something better.
Moral bankruptcy?
Yeah. Moral bankruptcy is an opportunity for Mark, for Facebook, to come in and say, we completely messed up. We have to reorganize the company.
I agree completely. So far, we've seen no acknowledgement, no accountability, no commitment to disclose everything in their files, no agreement that there have to be reforms. That is, in effect, moral bankruptcy in my view.
Senator Richard Blumenthal will chair the hearing. He expects bipartisan outrage over reports Facebook hid the potential risks of suicide and negative body image its Instagram platform may pose to children and teens.
I think that what we're seeing is big tech's big tobacco moment. What we're seeing here is Facebook through Instagram confronting how its own greed is putting kids at risk, and that's a big tobacco moment.
Facebook tells CBS News every day our teams have to balance protecting the ability of billions of people to express themselves openly with the need to keep our platform a safe and positive place. We continue to make significant improvements to tackle the spread of misinformation and harmful content. Senator Blumenthal believes additional regulation will be necessary, and he says that could include platforms facing legal liability for things posted on their sites and apps. Anne-Marie and Vlad.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Imran Ahmed joins us now to talk more about today's hearing. He's the CEO for the Center for Countering Digital Hate, which is an NGO focused on fighting misinformation. So, Imran, what are you expecting from today's hearing?
Well, what we're hoping to see is a confirmation of what so many of us outside of Facebook have been suspecting and saying for quite a time, which is that Facebook has been allowing the pollution of its core product, that its product is not only fundamentally dangerous because they haven't put into place the precautions to ensure it can be used in a safe way, but also that they've been allowing its pollution. One of the statistics that the whistleblower has highlighted is that they know they act on only 3 to 5% of hate, 0.6% of violence and intimidation. This is a platform that has shown a shocking level of negligence in administering its product.
So you highlighted, some of what we learned connected to Haugen's release of internal company data. What do you think were the most concerning revelations?
Look, at a really fundamental level, first of all, they know that the product itself has psychological effects on young people in particular. And so therefore, there's grounds there for immediate further study, for opening up their books and for regulation. Because if something is harming the entire, young people all around the world, we're in real trouble. The second thing is that they've revealed that the product is being used by bad actors and they simply aren't in control of it. And not just that, but they know how out of control they are. Every time organizations like my own have been saying, for example, we released a study recently saying that only 10% of anti-Semitism that we reported to them is acted upon. They came back and said, that's just utter nonsense. It turns out, actually, their own statistics were telling them the same thing. So this is a company that's allowed its platform to be used by bad actors and is in itself dangerous to young people.
So Haugen is expected to push Congress for more oversight within Facebook and some of its apps. What would that look like? I mean, I'm trying to understand how would, in a perfect world, how would Facebook operate? How would Instagram operate? Would it be sort of like what it was back in 2008, 2009, when it was basically just a platform for sharing cute photos of your cat and your kids, or something else?
It still is. It's like you, Anne-Marie, and you, Vlad, said right at the beginning. It's a platform that has the potential to transact such good. It is fundamentally a way of connecting people and of allowing people to connect in all sorts of ways, but also it empowers the small business economy. It allows companies to target their customers with unprecedented sort of granularity, with specificity. But at the same time, it's used in terrible ways. So it's almost like a utility, like water, for example. Although that water they know is tainted, and they haven't been telling anyone that actually there's chemicals in there that might kill, and especially young people. And so what you do in that circumstance is you ask for transparency. You have to be able to test independently, test the water. So we want to know, how does your algorithm work? We'd like to be able to test it independently to see what the outcomes are. We'd like to be able to see, how does your enforcement work? Well, how do you take decisions on whether or not to administer your community standards and how to apply your rules? We want to know, how do your economics work? So who's really paying for this utility? Is it the users or is it someone else? And if so, how is it that you're bending that utility for their benefit? And I think in doing that, what we'd get is more understanding. We'd be able to come to a common understanding as to what one of the main mechanisms by which we transmit information, we create relationships, we transact in our economy, and that we fundamentally set our values, our attitudes, our behaviors, our social mores in society. How does it really operate? We need a transparency revolution in big tech now, and they won't ever be transparent themselves, which means we're going to need regulation.
So, Facebook has responded in a few different ways. They sort of generally said that the whistleblower accusations are, not entirely accurate. And they also said to CBS News, listen, essentially, and I'm paraphrasing, we are trying to balance the freedom of expression on our platform with these other concerns, and we're getting better and better every day. What do you make of Facebook's response thus far?
Well, it's almost nonsensical, isn't it? It's the same thing that you and I and others have heard again and again and again. It's denial. It's deflecting it to someone else. It's delaying taking any credible action. Look, Facebook's always going to do what it's going to do, which is it's going to try and accrue money to itself. Mark Zuckerberg's worth $100 billion, and he's done that by, it's a very clever, very effective business that he runs. But it is a business. It's a private platform. He has successfully managed to make that something which billions of people around the world want to use. And we shouldn't expect him to necessarily want to have regulation. So, look, this is almost irrelevant what Facebook say at this point. And besides, if they came back and said none of this is true, would you believe them? I don't think anyone would at this point. And all we're asking for is more transparency, so that we can see for sure what's going on. We need independent researchers to be able to look at things. We can't have a Facebook oversight board appointed by Mark Zuckerberg who tell us whether or not it's working in the right way. We can't have their official pronouncements be trusted entirely, because it turns out their official pronouncements are hiding an enormous amount of internal data which actually contradicts what they've been saying in public.
One of the things, Imran, that I thought was sort of interesting is when Haugen was speaking to Scott Pelley, she talked about what, what the algorithms seemed to indicate worked. In other words, what got shared the most, what got the most clicked, and it was stuff that had people get angry and outraged. And I wonder if part of the growth of Facebook that went from being this interesting app that I first, and we were talking about this, that I first got on back in 2008, 2009, as somebody who had friends sort of all over the world. There's a way to connect with those friends and to keep up with what people were doing in different time zones and in different parts of the world. And clearly, it seems as if the growth and the profit and the revenues that Facebook are making are in part due to the sharing of information that is often misinformation, that is often information that seeks to be divisive and to stoke outrage. So it almost begs the question, if they remove that stuff, is that what Facebook is saying? Is if we remove this stuff from our platform, then we're not the big company that we were 2 years ago?
But, our job as a society is not to ensure that Mark Zuckerberg is worth $100 billion or $200 billion in 5 years' time. Society has a democratic voice, and that's at the heart of our societies in the West. And it's really important that we're able to say to companies that take enormous amounts of wealth from that society, that rely upon everyone else, and all of the, their business is fundamentally built on other people's relationships,
right,
other people's eyeballs, other people's content to draw people in. I think it's perfectly okay for us to turn around and say, well, hold on a sec. I'm not sure, actually, if you're killing young people, if the misinformation that you allow to flow on your platform is leading to Christchurch, to the massacre of Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar, if it's leading to the murder of my colleague Joe Cox MP, which is why I started doing this 5 or 6 years ago, after my colleague was killed by someone spouting racial hatred on the streets of England, that we should turn around and say, none of our business, carry on, mate.
Imran, thank you so much. I would like to point out that Mark Zuckerberg is about $6 billion poorer today. I don't know what the stock market is going to do when it opens, but allegedly he lost a sum of money, and I know you like to talk about how he's worth $100 billion. So thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
I just want to make clear it wasn't me. So that is my pleasure.
I'm sure he's worried about his retirement today, this morning when he woke up.
Indeed. Thank you so much.